Hey, Dodge, hang on a second. Is trained by the feds and funded by the feds, and they come from, they're trained to deal with terrorists, and they were called twice on trash and SRA in one night, and then the cops came separately. We're talking about the terrorism task force.
Yeah, it's hard to keep track of everything.
Yeah.
My word, so there's yet another arrest.
Yeah, did you see the picture?
No, I totally missed all of this.
Here, I'll show you. Hang on. I just had it up. I took it down to put your face up. Put your lovely mug. Okay, here we go.
Never seems to end.
No, and this one, the story is hilarious. The story is so ridiculous. I know that sounds pretty typical, but there's been a lot of chalk in the last couple days, over the weekend, and they called the terrorism task force twice on trash and SRA.
Oh wow!
And then,
okay, like swatting again.
Called the police. No, it's not swatting.
Wild.
Swatting is when there's a SWAT team. That's what swatting is.
Sure.
So there were no guns drawn. There was nothing like that. But the task force came and just went inside, talked to Scientology, probably watched one of their stupid videos, and left. And Israel said, "Is there someone who was there but not streaming, who was there protesting but not streaming?" Said, "You must have gotten called for us, like what's going on?" And they were like, "You guys haven't done anything to necessitate us being here." And they just left.
That's good.
And then the police were called twice. This is on trash and SRA yesterday, okay? Or yesterday or the day before. And then Nancy, in this picture here, she has a broken shoulder that's been broken for months. And she's had several surgeries on it. She's doing months and months of physical therapy. She's in pain all the time. Usually she has to have it in a sling to even be like mobile. And that's why they double cuffed her. Wasn't that nice of them? So she's got both her arms behind her back, and they've got a hold of her. I think that's her good arm, actually. But
wow.
Anyway, they came out. So somebody from a Scientologist guy came out and was throwing water on the chalk, and she stood up, and they were face to face basically, and he brushed up against her, and he claimed that she assaulted him with her breast.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Wow is right.
So then what? So she get taken in?
Yeah. She got arrested. She's in, I'm not watching it right now, but there were some other people there that took her camera and tried to stay live. They've been trying to stay live like throughout. And they were at the police station waiting for her to come out. And so this last year, it was just last year that Chicago got rid of cash. You might know this, cash bail.
Sure.
Did you hear about this? So now everybody gets out on everybody with a decent background gets off on their own recognizance.
That's good. So, you don't have to wait to see a judge or whatever.
No. Well, you do if you've got a bad background or if it's a felony.
Right.
But otherwise,
yeah.
But even up to $1,000 in shoplifting, they're still letting people out on recognizance. Okay. So anyway, so she would either have to wait till Monday to see a judge, or they would let her out, which they would have to let her out unless they were absolutely being assholes. And these are the same guys that we dealt with at the opening. These are the First District Police Department, Chicago police officers. So yeah,
and so at the moment, yes, at the moment she's still in custody apparently.
She's either getting out. Yeah, she's still in custody as far as I know.
How long has it been now?
Not even 2 hours yet. I put, let's see, how old is this tab? Let me look at it.
Well, we'll be watching, because that's a scary thing if they make her stay until Monday. I've been there, done that.
Yep.
But especially with this, I'm surprised there was even arrest, because it was really a he said. The whole thing is he said, she said, right?
Well,
it's not like the cop.
It says an hour ago. Well, there were witnesses. There were witnesses.
Oh,
so no, it's not he said, she said.
But even if the cops didn't witness it.
Michael Andreas says that she is still being booked. So they are booking her.
Long time. Jesus.
Fucking
But I can't believe they're actually going through the process of booking her and everything, though.
Oh, Chicago, that is not a long time to get booked. It can take 2 days to get booked here.
Right, wow.
I mean, it really can.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's nothing.
Right.
Even if they let her out, they're live now. So if they let her out today, it'll still be a couple hours at least.
Jesus. Yeah. Right. And that's the scary part is, though, who do they have connections with? Would they have connections with the judge? Would they be able to use some extenuating circumstance to hold her until Monday? Could they make it worse? It's a very scary thing in that regard.
It is. You end up in a holding cell till tomorrow when the bus comes and gets you and takes you to the jail.
Right. And then you're screwed until Monday.
Earliest.
I was going to say, if you're lucky, depending on it. Because I've been through all that process, the hopping the New York City turnstile and whatever. You're stuck there until probably Monday night, something like that.
Earliest.
But I'm surprised. I'm surprised they didn't just take her identification, though, and give her, some sort of ticket or something. Or
give her a ticket. Me too. I'm like, this is what jerks these guys are. They're horrid. They're horrible. But we know. We went through that shit with them. Remember? Wasn't that long ago?
Lord knows. Lord knows. That's funny.
We know.
Yeah. It is interesting. You wonder what type of connections they have in what cities, and obviously we'll talk about that with the connection with the firm. But yeah, the one thing I always wonder, what scared me the most, is I've still yet to see, at least not a ton of evidence for this, although certainly in some of the LA trials. But do they have any connections with the judges, or is it really just directly with the chief of police, perhaps in that certain jurisdiction? I always wonder that, is like, how deep does their influence go?
When I was practicing, I knew nothing about Scientology. They're a big nothing. So I'd never heard of any judge taking money. But then again, look at Greylord and some of those other investigations. But see, the thing is, the lawyers that were practicing at that time knew what was going on. The police all knew. The judges all knew. They all covered for each other. So it was a well-known secret, I guess. We would have known, because I was a litigator, so I was in trial all the time. If they had been doing something like that, we would have known. Those of us that were in the criminal courts every day, we would have heard something. And I never heard boo about Scientology. It's like, it is true. They move in, and as they're moving in, this is a formula for them. They do the same thing everywhere they go. Yes, that's what I think. This is what I think. I think it was Harris himself that got the bribe.
Fascinating.
I have no evidence, just a gut feeling that it was him, because I've never seen anything like what happened here. And I was born and raised here. I worked in the state's attorney's office in Cook County in the felony trial division. That was my first job. So, I have a lot of experience with police, prosecutors, public defenders, this population of witnesses and defendants. And I've never seen anything like what they did at that opening. I've never seen a private citizen be able to tell the commander of the first district what to do, who to arrest, where people should go, what constitutes trespassing, all that stuff. I've never seen anything like it. So I don't trust these guys to do anything right.
Right. But when you were doing it, you didn't see that influence, but obviously it could have happened in the subsequent 5 years or something or whatever. And that's what always concerns me is like, what new influence does Scientology have? What are the connections that are more recent?
I'd like to know too.
Right.
I mean, don't we all want to know? Isn't that what we want to know?
Yeah.
I mean, we can only watch what happens and make assumptions based on that. Like with the Tim Tallman stuff, you know? When I saw that, I was like, okay, this is either something so strangely exclusive to Hollywood or somebody's getting paid off here, because this is nuts. And I thought the same thing. I mean, I knew it. I've practiced with these guys, you know, not the same group of people because I'm older. I'm like, you know, kind of the generation before these guys. But yeah, I mean, I've worked closely with this district. I was at 26 in California. You know, I mean, yes.
What would have been, so I'm just curious, so that she's arrested, the official pretense was that she was making threats, I guess, right? Walk me through what the normal typical response would be, because you've had so much experience dealing with law enforcement.
Well, I don't even know what the charge is.
Well, right.
What did they charge her with? Did they say, you guys? Somebody that watched it?
Could you?
See, look, Michael says the cops were inside already. So the cops were inside watching always. That's the first thing they do. They don't talk to us, even when we call them.
Right.
They don't come talk to us about what we're calling about. They go inside and look at their footage. We have footage, you know, but no, they go inside, talk to them. No mention of threats, officers. Oh, there were cops.
So yeah, I'm sorry because I've just completely missed it. I'm just trying to find like the first. They cuff her, obviously. Do they verbally say why she's getting cuffed? Do they ask her any questions? I'm sure people in the chat know more than me.
They do. They know more than me too. I got like 16 phone calls all at once. Right. So I was in the middle of something else.
I'm sure. Right. Well, we all have to deal with this shit in each place we're at. She made contact with her breast. Right. Seriously. So what? Did somebody say that did somebody say they were a victim of assault because somebody felt their breast was grazed? I guess, was that the actual boob battery? Yeah. Was it? Is that the?
Yeah.
That's bizarre.
No, but
dude.
If battery was the charge. Okay.
Well, you can say sexual harassment, but what if somebody moves her hand and accidentally, you know? So some random person probably working for Scientology while she was out protesting called the cops and essentially said what she would try to say is she was sexually harassed, or it could have been battery. Probably one of the two. Somebody assaulted me, grabbed my breast. Is this person? So it's a female saying a female did it. And then the cops came and arrested her. That's
the story I think I got.
So freaking wild. I mean, you know, so all right. So that leads me to ask you the question, Shannon. Let's say Scientology is not involved and this is not at a protest. And a woman said another random woman.
Yeah, he accused her of touching him. Okay. So see,
he accused
her. It was Chadwick.
That seems like a stretch.
Him. Yeah, she assaulted him. She battered him with her breast. Yes.
So a man felt victimized that she used her breast as a sexual assault weapon to heave her breasts and assault this poor man.
Yeah. Blacking his eyes and everything, like knocked him unconscious.
Right. Did he say he fell?
It's boob tech.
Yeah. Tell me we're being too insensitive.
I don't think so. I don't know.
Although we're not, because we're on her side and we're talking about how ridiculous this is.
It is funny until it's you sitting in the holding cell with like 50, you know, with a bunch of prostitutes and
oh my god,
you know, people fight and they have to.
Okay, so Patricia gives a great I guess we could both. Oh no, only you could highlight the comments. But Patricia says, right, Nance was defending her chalk work on the public sidewalk from being washed off. While brushing, he says she touched him with her breast.
Right.
Wow. Wow. All right. So with all of that in mind, Shannon, how would, in your experience, when there was it was probably even more restrictive and there were less criminal justice reforms, how would a cop have reacted to that? A man says a woman grazed him with her breast and therefore he felt sexually assaulted. Would that be any warrant for arrest? Because it's not like he was flashed.
Of course not.
Right.
Of course.
Well, that's right.
Hello, I was touched everywhere from the rib cage down. I had my hair pulled, my clothes ripped, my phone slapped out of my hand several times, backed up against a wall, pushed, shoved. And did anybody even get warned about arrest? No, they did not.
Right.
And some people say you were the aggressor. Actually, no, I was just walking on a public sidewalk in a public street.
Shocker, right. Right. So they have different standards. But that would never, I mean, I hope that she could do a massive lawsuit because this doesn't seem like it's an arrest, because it is. I mean, you could say there are witnesses, and of course there were, people on his side who are also part of Scientology who are witnesses, but it still boils down to a he said, she said. And the fact that they're not like, here's a court date and we're going to examine this video evidence and probably throw out this court date, and here's this little date in case we go forward with it. I mean, you think that would be even the most extreme allowable typical response?
There would be no typical response. The typical response would be like, dude, you're insane. Why don't you go get help? Because we have real crimes. There was a cop that was just mugged on his way home from work this week and shot with his own gun, killed with his own gun. And the guy is still on the loose, last I heard. And he stole the cop's car, which was his own personal vehicle. And the guy was 30 years old and he got murdered. And this is what they're doing in the first district. Yeah, right. You guys don't understand. The first district is the busiest district in Chicago. They're the ones that deal with all the nasty South Side crime. Not all of it, but a lot of it. They should be very busy at all times doing things other than this. We live in a very violent city, and it's been violent for the last 3 decades. And people are murdered every day here. And this is what the cops are doing in the first district. It's unbelievable to me. It's maddening. When I was a state's attorney, if I had a case like this come across my desk, it wouldn't, because I was in felony trials. Right. But if it did come across my desk, I think I would call the cop in and hit him in the head with the file, because nobody gets charged with shit like this unless it's a DV case and someone's bleeding. Like, this kind of stuff is so it never happens. Okay, I just can't. I don't know what to say about it.
And Super Pup says, in addition, I truly wish they would have cuffed her in the front rather than double cuff her behind her back. She told them about her shoulders and surgeries, which leads me to question: what if she looks at a lawsuit? Could she say that this is not an arrestable offense? The evidence clearly shows there wasn't any intentional assault, and my I was put in pain and trauma, physical, emotional trauma, but pain because of my broken shoulder due to being cuffed. So so is this officer liable for the lawsuit?
The aggravation of the injury would go to damages, right? But the actual arrest would be a civil rights violation. And so she could get the Bloomberg, Northwestern University's Bloomberg Center to handle that. There are a lot of pro bono civil rights groups in Chicago because we have such a rich activist history here.
Yes.
I mean, the National Lawyers Guild has lawyers that represent people for this. This is where they gunned down the Black Panthers when they were asleep in their house, when they murdered that guy right next to his pregnant wife. I mean, we have a long, storied history of activism and police brutality in this city. So the fact that it would take a chance, that's exactly what I'll make sure she does. I mean, she's going to have to do it. She'll have to
Hope she
file
does.
a civil rights case against them in federal court, and they're going to
Well,
lose.
Someday, I hope someday soon, maybe we could all pull our resources and do a GoFundMe for anybody who's kind of victimized by the police in this regard, because it seems to be adding up and adding up and adding up.
Yeah.
It seems to be like an every 3-day occurrence, really.
Right.
So, that would be cool. A third foundation just for, legal lawsuits again, and I hope that happens, because obviously what happens when you do a lawsuit is discovery comes out and all this information comes out in discovery. And that, so not only is it good for them where they could get the compensation they deserve, but it could also further expose some of these deep connections, obviously.
That's right. That's right.
And perhaps in other cities.
In a civil case like that, you would be able to conduct discovery, the written discovery, in which they have to turn over where all of these phone calls are coming from, who they talk to when they go in and what's said, not just in this case, but as a pattern of civil rights violation. So you can discover all that. You could get David Miscavige on the stand and cross-examine him about the contacts with the police that Scientology has. I mean, this would be a great case. This would be an incredible case for not just for her and not just for civil rights, but for this particular movement,
Make a big difference. Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, that's definitely something I'll definitely look out for.
Did you see this? She's on her stream talking.
Yeah.
And when they cuffed her, she was in a lot of pain, which you're in pain when you get cuffed no matter what. And then you've got a pre-existing injury that's on your shoulder and they're bending your hands behind your back. Yeah.
So she's out at least, I guess. So she's finally out at this point, I presume.
Nancy will get all the legal support she needs from lawyers that do this on a regular basis. Don't worry.
She needs to. Yeah.
Yeah. Not from me. I'm not saying from me.
No, I know. Right.
People that do this,
It's a scary thing because there is, as we were talking about before we went to Chicago, there is legitimate, risk of arrest. And, and I remember I talked to you about my case. Like, I don't know if they have those connections in that or not, but you never know. And you never know who they're trying to gun and,
right.
And it could strike you at any time. So I just show up to my court date for, what I think Scientology orchestrated. So that'll be interesting, but.
I know. So we should talk about that now. Do you mind? I didn't know if you wanted to bring it up or not.
Absolutely. Yeah,
okay.
No, totally.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You guys, I'm sorry. Let me introduce myself. I just
a lot of people coming in.
Just want to say I'm Chicago Scientology Audit. I'm Shannon. That's my channel, and Dodge Landesman is here with me, and we're going to talk about a variety of different things that are going on in the Scientology battle right now. And he also has a legal charges pending against him for Scientology created charges. So let's talk about that. You want to tell the story?
Yeah, we never
You're
did.
You're probably sick of it, right?
No, I'm not saying. I can tell it over and over. And Patricia said Nance is still in jail. She's talking about earlier. Wow. Okay. Yeah, we never did like an official introduction because you did such a great job. You went on early and holding down the stream, so I just kind of fit right in. But yeah, no, I'm happy to tell it again. And I finally got the clip, by the way, so I could show that. I've been meaning to post it, but flew out to Chicago from Atlanta to help you protest, and thank you for all your work and everybody else is there, Selfless Self and many other people. Flew to the ideal or to Chicago to protest the ideal org. One of the henchmen threatened both me and Shannon and said to me, he said, Dodge. And I thought I was kind of complimented. It's like, oh, cool. My name. I'm kind of honored. But one of the henchmen that's, not direct security, but somebody who was, I think probably even works with them in a more direct way. He said, Dodge, you better watch out because we're thinking about storming the stage when David Miscavige was speaking, which we did not do. We'd be arrested. And he said, hey, Dodge, you have crimes. You have warrants. I said, warrants for what? He said, warrants for crimes. And I didn't know what the hell he was talking about. Like, I didn't have any warrants. And I said, I don't have any warrants. That's strange. And then I fly back because I'm on this long road trip trying to get to LA. So I left the dog in in Atlanta where I was, and flew back to Atlanta from Chicago. And that night, I was doing a live stream and I was covering the Super Tuesday primary election results. And I had even mentioned where I was staying, or I said I was staying at a golf course in suburban Atlanta. So they were very easily able to pinpoint it if they were responsible. And so smoking weed in my car was off. So it wasn't like a DUI or anything. Listening to results, cops knocked on my window. They said, how much have you been smoking? And I think I was way too reflexively honest with them. I was like, oh, I smoked probably about 1 gram. And they said, do you have any more in the car? Can we search your car? I very quickly allowed them to do so, thinking that, I didn't think they would actually put me in jail for this. And they said, is there any more in the car? I said, I don't know. There could be something similar to the amount that you found, but I don't know. So I didn't directly lie and say, I didn't, there was nothing in the car. So they find something. They said, well, it's illegal. And they cuffed me. And yeah, I spent a solid 16 hours in jail. But it was interesting. It was literally immediately 30 minutes after I entered my stream. And again, these people knew where I was. And just the day before, this guy was giving me a warning. And
hold on, can I interrupt for a sec? Okay. Please. This guy was not just giving, and I heard what he said to Dodge. Okay. I have it on film. I think I made a short out of it for you, Dodge.
Yes, I did find it. Thank you. Yeah.
There is a short that shows exactly what happened. But I want to tell you guys how weird this was. This guy was way back somewhere where he did not need to be. He was nowhere near what was happening. By the stage or anything else. Dodge and I were right in the middle of where all the protesters were. And this guy he had to climb over concrete barriers to get to these wooden barriers that Dodge and I were standing in front of, yelling to try to, we interrupted the whole proceeding. Yeah. Okay. And also, this is really important. He threatened Dodge, he threatened me. This is the guy. He was so freaking creepy. He had this baseball hat on and this mustache and beard and these shades. And he would climb over periodically and come towards someone. So as this is happening, he's coming toward Dodge. I can see because he kept doing it. And I said, what do you want? Hey, what do you want? I was saying, what are you doing? What do you have to say? Go ahead, say it. Because I could see he was coming to give Dodge shit. So then I got close and tried to get it on, and you can't say it. Can you, Dodge? You can't hear it in the tape. You can't hear it in the short.
If you really ratchet up the audio, you can.
You can hear it because he says to Dodge, Dodge, what are you doing with those 2 warrants you have? So I say,
what?
Yeah, he goes, what? And I said, Dodge, what did he just say to you? And then so that we can get it on the record. And Dodge goes, he just told me I have 2 warrants. Now, here's one thing you guys should know, too. They threatened us. They threatened me, too. They came up to me. The same guy came up to me and whispered so that it would not show, it would not be on film, on whatever, would not be recorded. He whispered to me, Ms., and said my last name, which I don't share with anyone. And he said, Ms. Blank, how did it feel when you got a DUI? This is a 16-year-old DUI. How did it feel to get arrested for DUI? That's what he said. And I was like, smart ass, but still, it freaks you out. Like, it freaks you out. I had no real contact with Scientologists prior to this. And also in Dodge's situation, when he was arrested, he was by a motel, basically in a little town in Georgia, in the middle of nowhere, right? At a dead end, this little road,
suburb of Atlanta.
Right. That dead ended at a golf course in the dark, late at night, listening to the political returns, right? So you should know there's no way a cop is just driving by and seeing him do what he's doing. No way.
That's
without they were already following him.
They said they were looking there because there were car break-ins, apparently. But I think that's probably an easy cover because I didn't see him the night before or anything like that, or And they said it's been happening for weeks. So that was his official reason. Because I was like, did anybody call the police? And he was like, no, nobody called on you, but we were here coincidentally. And I mean, that's a weird thing too, right? If I'm not the guy breaking into cars, shouldn't they remain focused on that instead of arresting a random guy who's smoking weed? So yeah. And then the other, it was interesting because I was there for 16 hours and about 5 staff members in the jail were all telling me how bizarre they thought it was that I was here for simple marijuana possession. They said that hasn't happened in 5 years. So they say they were telling me I'm the first one that's been in there in 5. And then 5 years ago, what happened is the sheriff issued an order, and it was in Fox 5 Atlanta and published in Patch and some other local publications. So essentially a message to the community. And the sheriff said he commanded his officers to no longer arrest people for marijuana possession unannounced. Now, I know that's not a hard and fast rule, obviously. It's not like a legal thing, so it might mean nothing. But I did think that was bizarre. That's the sheriff's way of modus operandi. And then all of a sudden, I'm arrested for this. And I was as compliant. And even the officer noted how pleasant it was to deal with me, all that stuff. So that was weird. It's like, if they're not arresting people for it, why are they arresting people for it? So yeah, I mean, I'm still not sure it's Scientology, but as I'm talking to you and looking at these comments, I'm kind of, more and more sure at this point.
It's Scientology. Absolutely.
It was just so random. And my concern is, do they have connections with a judge or anything? But
so did you just say when your hearing is? Your hearing is
I'll
next
say
week?
it's next week. Yeah, I'll say that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I hope they don't put me in jail for, a month, because you could. I doubt it, but.
Well, you said the statute says that you can go to jail for up to a year.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
It's scary. Right. And I mean, so I'm the 99% of it. There's absolutely no jail time, but I don't know, and I don't, and that's what I was asking about the judges, right? Because it's like, that's an even scarier part is obviously in Chicago, Scientology had connections with this officer to make this completely unwarranted arrest. And this arrest that this officer knew would probably be liable for some sort of lawsuit or something. Of course, if you have the money to protect the person, then that's a different conversation. But it is at least a relief to hear you say the judges aren't bought off in that same regard as much or as readily.
I don't know. I just don't know.
Maybe that's more. Yeah, maybe you can't tell. Who knows? So yeah, I mean, if you don't hear from me for a month, it's because I'm in jail, by the way. If you don't hear from me, that's probably why.
If things go the way they should go, you don't talk about what advice you've gotten, what legal advice you've gotten. Don't talk about that. No. If things go the way they should go, it'll be a fine, a small fine, and maybe some community service.
I could do that.
Even if you did like 10 days of like a SWAT program, that would be preferable to going to jail or being on probation.
Right.
So, but they have to give you a public defender if you ask for one. And if I were you, if you don't go in with an attorney, I would ask for one. Yes, you should. You're entitled to it. No,
I consulted with one.
So I'm just going to say something.
Yeah, what's up?
Go ahead.
Oh, no, all I'm saying is I consulted with one, and he, I didn't give the Scientology background, but gave the basic background. And he just said, very likely they'll be fine if I just forfeit the fine. And he said representation isn't that necessary unless you're trying to get it thrown out. But I still think I should get a court appointed one just in case. So I'll ask about that. What are you going to say?
Oh, just nothing. You're skipping. It's hard for me to understand what you're saying. Just for a second.
Oh,
it's probably my connection.
You were skipping too. It might be my connection that's bad. Because you skipped a little bit, or at least your picture is skipped.
Yeah,
can you hear me
I've seen it. Yeah. I can hear you perfectly. Yeah.
Okay, good, cool. No, all I was saying is that I consulted with somebody. He said probably not necessary to get representation because I'm not trying to get the charge thrown out, So he says with that, I don't think there's much to be worried about, but we'll see. Carrie says it's Shannon's connection. Okay, cool. Which I'm shocked because I'm in a dumpy motel.
Throw me right under the bus. No, it is. It is mine. I live in a high rise. I'm not like.
Okay, I'm gonna take all your advice and ask for an attorney. You never know. That's true. The attorney.
I've never given you any advice. I have never given you advice.
No, I'm in the comments. I'm saying. You haven't. You're
oh yeah, right. But yeah, just as a rule, everybody knows that you don't give the police permission to search your car ever under any circumstances or answer any questions they ask you. Because, and this is not legal advice, this is just what I've heard over the years, that you just don't ever give them, because they have to come up then with probable cause. If you give them permission, then they don't have to have probable cause. So, and of course, you never admit to breaking the law, no matter what, even if they catch you with it into your lips.
Wow, really? Okay. You never know.
I know you were doing what you always do, which is tell the truth and, act with honor and character. And
well, I thought it would help me, right? I thought that meant they wouldn't arrest me if I was compliant.
Right. They like to make you think that, yeah.
Right. And that was the bizarre part. And and I was thinking, well, obviously, if they're hoping for a massive amount, they'd arrest me, or they're hoping to find heroin or something. Fine. But they'll search my car and realize all I have is this negligible amount of marijuana, which they won't arrest me for. There's even this edict issued by the sheriff saying they don't arrest people for it. So, yeah, I would argue their probable cause is they smelled marijuana, outside my car. So
they always say that.
Right. But that would work. So that's the scary part. It's like, when do you let them, when do you dig in and when do you not?
You always
I always want it. Interesting. But isn't that going to make it much worse?
No.
Really? But people don't say, well, this person was compliant, therefore they have X.
I'm not saying you should beat them up. I'm saying you don't admit to anything and you don't give them permission to do anything.
Right.
That's all. I mean, that's just my personal opinion as a lay person who does not have an active license and who has been retired for 10 years.
We've been involved, so.
Right. Well.
Yeah.
But I'm not giving legal advice.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, so now you have a lot going on too with this and you'll be okay. It'll be okay.
I hope so.
There's much worse things going on in the world.
Yes,
so
I see it right.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
I
don't have any other record besides for marijuana thing. Another marijuana charge. I don't have any other. So it'd be surprising to throw the book at me. But we'll see. Hard to say. Dodge, always say you ran over a
You'll be okay.
Skunk. That's funny. I like Chrissy, never into Newton. Dodge, always say you ran over a dead skunk. I love that. That's hilarious. I should have said that. That would have been very smart. I should have just kept a dead skunk in my car. I saw it on the side of the road.
Here it is.
Sad. Yeah.
But I mean, you had to deal with like the stress of your dog being alone in the hotel and all that stuff. That's terrible. Anyway, let's move on.
Yes. So
I can tell it's making you nervous.
Yeah, that's all right. I'm very nervous about it, but it's also therapeutic to talk about it and get advice from everybody. So I appreciate that. And yes,
this is dead on right here. This is dead on right here.
Very good advice.
This is what people do. I'm not interested in speaking to the police, period.
Fifth
Monty,
Amendment rights.
stop.
That's it.
There's something about me being on a live that makes Monty crazy. Dodge, where's the puppy?
Right.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Right here.
Yeah, this is the dog that
he'll be excited for a walk.
Yeah. It must be hot down there too for him, right?
Yeah, he doesn't want to go out for much of the day.
Yeah.
We went to the beach today, or Mississippi, going back east. So we were in. So he had a fun time at least on the beach and enjoyed that. So he was out for like 2 hours, and then it was like, it's too hot. Screw it. Even like 78. It was 78 degrees. It wasn't that hot, but it's too hot for him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with humidity, 80 can be kind of miserable. So I get it. Also, this is the dog that Dodge adopted in a dusty gas station in Mexico somewhere in the middle of nowhere,
Yes.
right?
Exactly. Yeah. Stray dog, no middleman, no shelter. He just started following me and never stopped. Most direct you could get.
Yeah. Yeah. No fees at all, right?
No fees. No, and I brought him across the border, but I drove. So that was easy. I didn't have to pay for that. Your dog can't figure out where the person is you're speaking to, Shannon. Yeah, no, the dog seems to realize that there's like one-sided communication with technology. I think he's aware of that.
Yeah, they know.
To him. Yeah.
Well, and then they're jealous. They're jealous,
Yes. Well, he gets jealous with people in person, more so than anything else. Yeah, so Irrelevant Panda, we're just talking about Nance.
Yes, yes. No, I do know this Sciento, yes. This is one of the people that's involved with Dream Exchange, as a matter of fact.
Okay, so yeah, I want to talk with Dream Exchange. And what the hell, how many hands do they have and how many cookie jars?
You saw my video, right? So I made a playlist today to make it easier for people to access. There's a Dream Exchange playlist. I think there are only 3 or 4 videos in there, and there's only one long one. So the only comprehensive one I've done is the first one. And that was just very basics, what's going on here. There have been a lot of people that have helped me with research. Did you see all of the references in the description just for the one video? There's a ton of documentation. Also in my community tab, and we have a lot more than what's out there still to come. So I keep being told by people, Jeffrey Augustine, I guess my listeners are going to Jeff's lives and saying, have you heard about Dream Exchange now? Right. And so he's saying, well, I'm looking into it. But actually, I mean, I don't know what else there is for my purposes. I've found out almost everything I need to know exactly where I stand on the situation. So I thought I'd let you talk about what you found, and then we'll, any questions you might have for me.
Sure. Let me get my phone because it's back here. And I'm probably going to have to, I have to plug in the computer in 10 minutes. Okay,
that's okay. Okay, so guys, I'll just give you a little background for anyone who doesn't know. Some of my members and I have been working really hard on a project involving Dream Exchange LLC, which is a company that is really a Clearwater company, but it claims to be a Chicago company.
And they have a bunch
Dream
of people.
Exchange Limited Liability Corporation.
And they have a bunch of people on
there. And what they're doing is, let me just say real quick, what they're doing is they have assisted in drafting with Tom Emmer from where is he from again? You guys help me. Michael. No, it's a Republican from it's slipping my mind right now. Anyway, the CEO of Dream Exchange was a CPA and is an attorney here in Chicago. Right now he's in Clearwater getting some kind of corrective auditing. We don't know what that's about yet. And we are okay. So what they're doing is they developed a piece of legislation called the Main Street Growth Act. And the Main Street Growth Act is meant to create a space for smaller capitalized companies to be able to trade ventures. In other words, selling interests in their non-IPO company, and stock, which is people, smaller companies. We're talking less than 100 million or something. It can still be huge, right? But they're not big enough to qualify for, or they're not capitalized enough. They have enough market capital to be traded on NASDAQ or the New York Stock Exchange. So what this piece of legislation would do, again, it's called the Main Street Growth Act. So it sounds like it's really great for Main Street.
Is this, forgive my ignorance, is this different than the passage of the Hometown Market Act? So I guess
I don't know. Oh, no, it is not different. This has been brought before.
Right. Okay.
It's been in committee, out of committee. It's been brought to the House of Representatives as a whole, and each iteration has been slightly different, and each one has been called a different name. Right now, it's called the Main Street Growth Act. Okay,
Previously
thank you.
Called.
Emmer of Minnesota, Kennedy of Louisiana. So there are actually 4 sponsors. All the details of this stuff is on my YouTube page. Okay, it's all there, and it's been so thoroughly researched that anything you might want to know, you'll find there. So they're working to get this working. By working, I mean they're getting all kinds of, from their investors to people who are members of Scientology, to get in touch with their representatives and Congress people to encourage them to pass this legislation so that this company called Dream Exchange LLC can own and operate. They'll be able to run a little venture stock exchange, and they're calling it a minority owned and operated stock exchange. So it's diversity forward, right? And what they say in their PR is that minority owned and operated companies would have a chance to sell interest in their companies, whether it's stock or investment capital. They'll have a chance to be traded in an arena that isn't as big and as tightly controlled and regulated as the NASDAQ or the New York Stock Exchange. So the way they sell it is this gives small minority-owned companies more opportunity to grow.
Access. Right. Well,
and it gives more. It's like a hedge fund. It's essentially a hedge fund in reality. It gives people that don't have a lot of money the opportunity to get together in a group and make investments into companies that are neither fully capitalized nor well regulated. So it's what it really does is it creates an opportunity for a lot of cash flow in a small amount of time, and it's the opportunity for people to lose their life savings, their kids' college funds, their whatever it is they have that they're investing. And it's exactly what's happened in the cryptocurrency arena recently. So it's lauded as something beneficial, but I'm going to let Dodge go now because it has an interesting twist. It's actually owned and operated by Scientologists, by Scientology. Okay, so go ahead.
No,
go ahead, Dodge.
You hit the nail on the head, perfect. And the reason that I wanted to bring this up because it's a lot of inside baseball to make sense of. But what this is becoming is clearly, I think, the next big political battle of Scientology. And it also confirms that even after all this negative press, as Michael mentions, with Representative Emmer of Minnesota and John Kennedy of Louisiana, both sponsoring this, Scientology still has those deep-pocketed political connections. And it's this way through politics to continue their financial malfeasance as quietly and as under the radar as possible. First was them not having to be examined and having tax exempt status. That means there's a lot less oversight. And now with this effort, Congress is making sure that their investments and the people whom are invested within them are not further scrutinized in any single way, shape, or form. So the same way that they can be shady and shadowy, acting under the liberty of being tax exempt, they can now do the same thing, acting under the liberty of this new act where they no longer have the oversight. So it's really an amazing thing. And nobody has really, you're one of the first people to begin talking about this, which is what I admire. And the connection of I forget, I keep forgetting if it's Dream Escape or Dreamscape or Dream.
It's Dream Exchange. Think
exchange,
of
right?
stock
Okay,
exchange.
so it's like, but the connections are so obvious of them with Scientology. They are essentially almost like the Stand League, if you know them, which is this Twitter page that claims to advocate for religious freedom, and they're run by Scientology. Yeah. But it's like you do you've done 1,000 times more research than I've done, but you do like a quick Google search. You're like, okay, you find somebody. I found somebody named Rita Weigers probably. Rita Weigers, and it says under her education, university, under her Purdue University education, it says Church of Scientology, Chicago. So it says that, and it says under her LinkedIn, student, Church of Scientology, Chicago, May 2021 to present. The other credential that she has is Vice President of Business Development at Dream Exchange from supposedly July 2016 to May 2021. Maybe she changed that because she was looking and realized there's some scrutiny. The Dream Exchange will be a national stock exchange that creates liquidity for private business owners and their investors. Liquidity meaning,
That's
welcome to our own offshore account, an investment platform.
Right. That's right.
So they are, I don't think there's any difference between the two.
I don't think so either. This is a Bernie Madoff. This is a Bernie Madoff situation on a slightly smaller scale, and it's owned and operated by Scientology. So what we did was we looked at the staff of Scientology in the Less Than Ideal org in Chicago. We looked at all the staff, and then we looked at all the staff that's publicly known about Dream Exchange. It's a small company, you guys. And there's an almost direct overlap between the two. Every 17 out of 20 employees of Dream Exchange are Scientologists and have a lot of training in 17 out of 20. Yes. And they have a lot of Scientology training. And we're talking about a particular family called the Sakala family. And remember, you guys,
he's the main head honcho. Yes.
He was at the opening at the Chicago org. I've got a photo of him on the stage with David Miscavige. Not just him, his son, who is the director of the Less Than Ideal org in Chicago. His son is the head honcho.
Because I found two of them and I was wondering.
Are co-head honchos at the Ideal org in Chicago. Yep. No, so Joe Jr. is the dad. Joey Sakala is the head of the Ideal org, and he is the third. Okay, his wife is Crystal, formerly Ehrlich, now Sakala. So that's Joey and his wife. Joe Jr. is the lawyer / CPA who no longer has a certification to be a CPA, but still claims to be one because they have to have one by law with what they're doing, and they don't. So he's claiming he's a CPA to the investors. We have a copy of their PPM, which is the legally binding documents that they have to give to every investor. The SEC requires that. And the PPM is a mess. But I can tell you, it says on page, what is it, you guys, 22, 23? It says that they use, quote unquote, Hubbard training technology. And that is the only disclosure that Scientology has anything whatsoever to do with this enterprise. Now, Joe Jr., the cop/CPA, is the CEO and founder of Dream Exchange. So also he has two sons, both his...
If you go to Joe Jr.'s Facebook, it also says, if you go and just look at his Facebook, it says works for Scientology. And only to cut in real quick, the Joe Cicciola Jr., the dad, the bald guy, was also on it. Take control of your life. And it says here from Joe Cicciola, and it has the Scientology logo. And it says take control of your life. And it's part of their Scientology's official Chicago event. Find out how to maximize your potential to create the effects you want in your life. Help us acknowledge the Chicago Ideal Org founding staff members and find out who they are. And then again, you probably can't see it. You can see it. Here's Joe. And this is a direct Scientology event.
Yep.
So, right. Sorry to me to cut you off. But it's fascinating. And then his son, if you look on his Facebook, it says works for Scientology.
And he does. He's the head honcho over there. He and his wife, and his wife is his underling, but this other woman is one of the head honchos there too. But anyway, if you look at their board, board, and you will see that they're all Scientologists, all but two, I think. And I don't know. I mean, does this make sense to you guys? Some people will comment later and say, I didn't understand any of that. And then we're getting a little glitchy on top of it. So I do apologize. So yes. So it says Sakala, if anyone's looking for them. I just said that I created a Dream Exchange playlist on my YouTube channel, which is Chicago Scientology Audit. It's and Dodge, what's the name of your channel?
Yeah, thank you for asking. I appreciate that, Saul. And cool name, by the way. Yes, so Dodge Landesman, DODG. Well, yeah, that's just my name on. My name is very uncommon, so all of my socials, everything is just my name. So yeah, YouTube would be the Dodge Landesman, as you see on the screen. Exactly. But no, I think you're doing a good job, because I think it's so much research and it's so complicated. But then once we talk about it, it only takes 20 seconds to actually explain what's happening and how severe it is. Yeah. The elevator quick pitch is that Scientology is infiltrating the investment market and trying to create new legislation where people investing with them won't be analyzed. They have enough connections at the top with both a U.S. senator as well as a congressperson to actually get this through, so they have no further investigation. This is Operation Snow White Part 2. They were successful in initially achieving tax exempt status through threatening IRS members and knowing key people in Congress. And this is, people don't realize, and I'm going to make an effort, I'm not in mainstream news anymore, but to contact people, because this is like front page news, quite frankly. And it's that simple, is that they're utilizing political corruption to no longer have oversight, so they can do illegal things. That's right. That's it. And yeah, we said at the same time, St. Louis Scientology Squirrel. It's so I mean, and now I think we all have our marching orders, which is quite frankly, distill your quick 30-second pitch as I just did, and email any mainstream news source that you might follow, anything that you might have a connection with. I'm going to talk to the Young Turks. I don't trust. I'm sorry, this is not about you. I don't like journalists. I don't like the press. I don't like them with the mainstream media. Yeah, for good reason. You've got the inside knowledge. You saw what they did to you, and that was NBC. Thank you very much. I don't deal with mainstream media, but I will talk to Young Turks about it. Let me tell you something, okay? I understand why you're asking this question, okay? I've been asked this question. I've been asked about Jeffrey Audit. I've been asked about a lot of other people that have bigger channels than I do, as in more subs and a wider range of contacts, right? So, because the main goal right now is to stop this legislation. We want to stop the legislation, and we want to expose the connection with Scientology so that we can keep them from being able to
fund themselves once the IRS exemption is taken away. We don't want some kind of a gold parachute once they have no tax exemption.
Plan B, isn't it? Yep.
And this is a really good way of making sure they have a cash flow that's not accounted for. Churches don't have to account for cash. They deal with cash all the time. This is a brilliant scheme for laundering money coming out of Dream Exchange. There's no minority element to any of this. The whole minority idea is just a red herring. It's a marketing ploy. It's a lie. We all know Scientology is racist. We all know they're anti-diversity. We all, of any kind. We know that. We know that their own motto is making the able abler. So we know that they have no interest whatsoever. And I have reached out to everyone I can think of. My mods have sent my videos. We have talked, and guess what? Crickets.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, that's why you're here today, right? And that's
why I'm here, and I'm not going anywhere.
I know the one thing that David Pakman. Yeah, Mother Guari, I contacted David Pakman when I got fired. He never got back, but this might be more interesting. And I should also contact Valuetainment, who is on the opposite side of the spectrum, but that I used to work for, although I certainly regret working for them. But I will contact them because they have wide reach. And then I will also, what I could do is, because I went on a press blitz after I got fired, for talking about Scientology. So I'll certainly connect with the Intercept. The Intercept was supposed to do something on it. They never did because there wasn't that big of a thing. But this is like right up their alley. And they have, I think, 10 million consistent readers. I'll connect to the New York Post, someone at the Rolling Stone as well. So a bunch of all these connections that I made is like I have these direct emails and these direct numbers of these reporters that are still in the mainstream media. So that'll be kind of my mission. Now that we have this. Yeah.
Nice.
Because this is
I'm not going to stop doing research. Like I said, I've already made up my mind where I stand on it, and I've already taken action. There's a whole video on what you can do to help. Okay, guys? It's got all the contacts you need. It's got form letters form email. I still say letters.
Oh, perfect.
Form emails. Everything you guys need is there to help. And we need help. We need help. We need voices. And so I'm going to continue to do research. I'm going to continue to, not me, my whole team. I have a team of people that are members of my channel that are constantly where we've been busting our butts on this for 2 months now. But here's the thing. This has to do with getting it out to bigger media. I wanted to have everything I needed, all the evidence I needed to make my mind up and take a position about it. So I needed to do enough research and enough putting it all together to make it, to put it in a form that I thought was clear enough for anyone to understand. And I don't know if it is, but anyway, I'm ready to.
It is.
Before that, I wasn't ready to disseminate. I was reaching out already to get people involved, but nobody would do anything. No interview, no nothing. Like I am, I don't know. We were going to talk about the cool kids tonight too.
The cool kids? What are you talking about? The cool kids? You've lost me on that.
Did I really?
Yeah.
Do you even sub to my channel? Tell me.
I do. I watched a lot. The cool kids is completely new to me. Sorry if I had attention as much as I should have.
That's kind of beside the point at the moment, a little bit. But so mothers, I'm going to follow your advice. Okay, I'm going to look into this. I want you to know that
Pakman's a good one to connect with.
When people have suggestions for me, I really appreciate if you send. I always look at the chat if I'm doing one of these, a panel like this, and I take your advice. Trust me, I don't ignore you at all. And anybody that sends me emails with suggestions that make sense, I do it. And so it's not like I'm not the kind of person. I was kind of a little bit protective of the story at first because I wanted to fully develop it from my own sense of, what I would think was right and wrong. Do you know what I mean? But once that was done, I was like, we got to get it out, right? We're going to get it out. And
how do you find all this? Was it you that originally found out all this information?
Someone came to me. I have all these people.
Wow, so a random person came to you.
And this happened even before the opening, I think.
No
it
shit.
was even before the opening. This was 2 months ago. Somebody came to me and the person, I don't know who the person is. I have no idea who this person is. None. Cool. But I've gotten a lot of inside information. A lot. I have emails between a staff member for Chicago Scientology named Kristen Sakala, or Crystal Sakala, who is married to Joey Sakala.
Sure, okay.
Telling everyone on staff at Dream Exchange that they need to get their Scientology work done and explaining exactly how they were and were not to do it. You guys you'll get a kick out of a lot of this. They have to go to a special room. They can't bring anything electronic with them. They can't bring anything to eat or drink. They can't be disturbed while they're in that room. They can't take the materials out with them, I think. That one I'm not positive about. But there's a real, like a Xenu, like an OT3 feel to the whole thing, which is, it's all, even the PR for Dream Exchange on their own website is all Scientology lingo. It's all, we're here to help man succeed and survive more easily on this planet. Like that's the kind of thing they talk about. So, yeah.
Yeah, fascinating.
Yeah. This is so great. I mean, it came to me, Dodge. It's just this stuff.
Uh-oh, I lost you. Your connection is bad. Now you're completely frozen out. That's sad. Papa, can you hear me? So I'm going to write to Shannon being like, you're frozen. Thank you guys for bearing with us.
Here I am.
You're frozen. I missed everything you were saying. Sorry.
I don't even know what I was saying. Never mind. It's not important.
Well, it's interesting. You're talking about how the information was discovered, which is cool. It is really out of thin air that somebody just wanted to, give you. It's like you had your own version of Deep Throat, like in Watergate. It's just this random shadowy figure.
Yeah,
pretty cool.
That's not the only one either. We're working on getting someone out of Scientology, rescuing someone right now.
Okay, good for you.
Yeah. So
are you allowed to announce on that, or that
not right now? I can't. It is so interesting. You guys are going to go nuts when you find out about this. It's way more interesting than anything you've heard to date. So you're going to love it.
Cool.
I'm just saying, and I didn't find it. It found me. That's how this stuff works.
Well, the person wants to talk to me. Let this person know.
I will for sure. I will. I don't know who the person is.
Okay. Cool. But you're still working on it. Respect.
I don't ask questions, personal questions.
Makes sense.
They give me information.
Cool.
So if their information pans out and it's real, then I know I can trust them. And we've developed trust between us over the last 2 months. Make sense? Is that how you work?
I've never gotten anybody out of Scientology. I can't. You do a lot more noble things than I do. All I did was show up at a protest and scream, and of course get fired a while ago.
You got fired for standing up against Scientology. You adopted a dog out of the dirt road in Mexico. You're like one of the most wonderful people I know.
Thank you. Because there's a fair amount of comments on my page being like, I suck. I'm not a real journalist. I'm lazy. I don't do any research. Everything is off the top of my head. And I should get off YouTube.
Nope.
That's 10% of the comments, 90, so whatever. But that's nice to hear. But when it's fresh on your brain, that's certainly nice to hear. And of course, people don't. The thing that got less interest, but was journalism, and doing my own research, was going to New Hampshire and interviewing people at a Trump rally, at a Biden rally, at a Marianne Williamson rally, at a Ron DeSantis event, at a Dean Phillips event, like everybody. So to say that I haven't put in the effort to do research and be informed, I think is inaccurate. But so it's nice to hear you say that. I appreciate that. Dodge is kind of work you can do. Forget about, right. Getting involved in Mitch, all that. I hope you understand. Just wanting to.
That's the cool kid story, Dodge.
I did a poll and you guys spoke. And amazingly, this whole Mitch thing still has legs. And I will say, as mildly hurtful for 3 minutes that 5% of the comments are, my subscribers jumped in the middle of all that Mitch and Nora controversy. But there's only so many times you can beat a dead horse. So I put up a big poll being like, do you want me to give the reaction to 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 the reaction and about the interview? And luckily 67% said, no, don't worry about it. And I was like, yeah, so I'm done with it. But I did. I will say,
thank God.
Part of me is a little jealous because I would have loved to have Mitch and Nora on and would have loved to take that gold prize in terms of, not that it matters, but in terms of sub count and views. But Liz Gale obviously is more informed than I would ever be to figure out who was telling the truth and who wasn't. So she was totally the right call for that. And I'm glad that they finally spoke to each other. And it seemed like there was some agreement on some of the issues. But yeah, I'm obviously glad to be focused on other things as well. But it was a very interesting saga in which Liz did a good job moderating. And I think people looking at it's going to, and a lot of people didn't like that I haven't definitively said Mitch is evil and Nora is, this next second coming of Christ, or that Nora is evil and Mitch is the second coming of Christ. And, it's because unlike Liz Gale or unlike Mitch or unlike Nora, I was never in Scientology and I can never understand that inside baseball and understand if Mitch was lying or if I never can, because I was never in Scientology and I just don't have that base of knowledge. And maybe I could research and read 5 books and have a definitive answer in a month, but that will take much longer than somebody who could talk about their experience who have actually lived in it. So I think some people give me some slack for that, for just to automatically hate or love somebody is too hard, because I watch both these people and I don't hate either of these people. And I found both of them to be entertaining. So yeah, it's fun to talk about this because I want to give my final little analysis about it all. But okay. Yeah, a lot of us will never have the ability to know enough to truly judge, would be my thing. But you can bring conversations and get people to reveal information that could be dissected from somebody who does know more than I would. In that sense, I'd like to think I did some sort of a service, obviously, with the Mitch interview. But
you did actually.
Yeah, it was fascinating.
Did you see this comment? Look at this comment. That is so true. Thank you for saying that, because it's absolutely true. I appreciate it.
Amen.
It's the truth.
Criticism, easy work is hard. Ain't that the truth?
So this is the whole the cool kids thing. Okay.
Oh, that's what you're talking about. Yes.
You and I are the same in that So you and I are the same in that we've never been in Scientology. We have the disadvantage of not understanding a lot of it, and sometimes just going, and you didn't run then? You heard what, and they did what, and you didn't run? But we also have the advantage of being able to see it from a relatively objective perspective. Not only that, but Scientology has also, don't forget, made legitimate enemies of us for good reason, okay? Yes. I have been manhandled. I have been threatened with arrest. I have had my body touched and my property destroyed. So I have a legitimate beef with those douchebags. And nobody is more passionate about fighting Scientology, I don't think, than you and I. And so what I mean when I say cool kids is the couple of there's one big channel, and then there are a couple of bigger ones, and then we trickles down to me, and even smaller than me. And when these wars happen with the Scientologists and the ex-Scientologist community, we end up taking a lot of times the brunt of it. We are expected to choose sides in a war we have no idea about. All we know is our enemy is Scientology.
Right. And Mitch and Nora's info is
and
valuable.
We're expected to choose.
Right.
That's the thing, is we said, when Dodge invited me on, I'm like, I can get information about how to fight Scientology from anybody that's been in that cult. I don't care what people think about them. I don't care if they're a popular kid, a cool kid, or one of the losers. I'm going to listen to them. If you don't like that, I'm not the streamer for you, for sure. But I am also not the streamer for some of the bigger channels who decided that I did the wrong thing. So you have to know, I've been very open recently about the fact that I am not, this Dream Exchange thing is paying a price because I went on a panel with people that aren't liked by other people.
Right. And you didn't
know. I did not know that people are off limits, that some people are off limits. I mean, I was raised and I was schooled to think that you can have a civil debate with almost anyone. And all of those people were perfectly civil, all of them.
Yes.
So I've started to name names, and I'm not going to put up with that shit anymore. I'm really not. I'm not going to choose sides.
Right.
Just so I can get subs or whatever.
Right. And I want to address Carrie's comment. I so appreciate that. Thank you, Carrie. I'm so over it. Glad others are too, but I'm also sick of people saying Dodge is chasing clout without an understanding what his reporting has cost him. Yeah, right. Exactly, guys. I wasn't chasing clout. I was responding to, I was remarking that for people who felt really bad for me that I gained all my subscribers, and I was happy about that. Was I chasing clout? No, I was interviewing Mitch to get information. And then my comments became the center of an inside baseball firestorm. And of course, I'm going to address that.
Yeah.
So to say that's clout chasing, no. And of course, there I also said, this is where I messed up and could have been where Nora's 1,000% correct, where I could have been a better reporter. So yeah, no, there'll be some people that, look, I have 3 people that just hate me and they make me laugh. And one is like Christine or something. I'm trying to remember. I wish I could remember. I guess they haven't really gotten to me. But there are 3 people that will always say the meanest shit no matter what. And they help the algorithm, and they're hate watching me. So hate watching is still watching. So it's like whatever. But those will always, they'll always be there. Who did you go on with, SBT? SBTV never. SBTV, and you've been very gracious in your comments in mine, which I appreciate. And check out SBT Never Ends YouTube, which is worth the watch as well. I was talking about with Mitch and the whole situation of me going on with Mitch, and the live the night before, Shannon got some blowback because I had invited Mitch along with Jeff and Karen D. like Carriere to do a rundown of the LRH birthday speech. So Shannon also got some very strange. I understand the blowback that I got. I was interviewing the guy, so I should have known that controversy that he was stirring up and that people had issue with. Shannon, though, has been a victim of all this. Like, she barely didn't really know the guy at all before, and nor is she expected to. Shannon's never said she's a journalist. You are a journalist in my mind because of all that stuff you're uncovering. But she's never promoted herself that way. So the weird thing that she got some collateral stuff is very bizarre to me.
I was there as a guest panelist.
Right.
Because Dodge and I were together at the opening, and he wanted us to talk about Chicago specifically.
I just wanted a bunch of people, right? I invited a bunch of people on both sides, and half came through and half couldn't do it.
Right.
But it is a shame where because there is a creator who is irked, and I'm not even going to say disliked, but irked by the most major creator. Therefore, anything that other creator says must be thrown out. Their story must be invalidated. They're not interesting to listen to. In the real life world, people have beef with each other. That doesn't mean you have to have beef with that. You could like both people at the same time and feel you're getting valuable information. Now, you might say this person was lying about this one specific thing that this biggest creator was saying they were lying about, and that's not cool. But you can still appreciate all the information given from that other person anyway. So the fact that you're like, oh, you don't like the biggest creator, then la 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 la, like that's not mature, that's not productive. And if you want to learn the truth about Scientology, listen to all of them. You know, I don't think any of these anti-Scientology people are blatant liars. I mean, you know, some of them are blatant liars about the majority of what they're talking about. Certainly about specific issues like the Children of the Sea Org, which is a big problem. Yes, but in general, no, I don't, you know, so that's just my diatribe on that. But yes, exactly. Irrelevant.
I think we're all in agreement here. Most of us, every one of us has something to contribute to this fight. And we're all passionate about it in our own way. It's the truth, you guys, because we talk with other creators and stuff behind the scenes and that kind of thing. And we're all passionate, truly, very passionate about it. So why would we fight with each other? Why would we be forced to pick a side or a team? Does that make any sense at all? It just doesn't to me.
No. And SBTV never. And I admire it. She said my cap locks get stuck. So sorry. That's okay. People have zero right to tell you who to like and who not to. So kindergarten. Yeah. And SBTV never end. Again, I've seen a bunch of your comment, and you have been very supportive of the biggest creator, as he's done a lot of good work. And I think that's legitimate, but you've also been very level headed and, you know, so I appreciate, and you could have that view where he's 1,000% correct on everything. And he might be, but that doesn't mean you have to hate somebody because that person spoke with somebody who doesn't like the person that you're the biggest fan of. So I appreciate you saying that. And Carrie, you're funny. The LRH birthday speech video is something I couldn't bring myself. Oh, and by the way, go to SBT Never In for a really good YouTube page. The LRH birthday speech video is something I couldn't bring myself to watch. All panelists deserved hazard pay for that, even though I don't vibe with Mitch. Understandable. I am glad you also brought. Yeah, well, it got hijacked though. We actually did listen to about 35 actual minutes of the entire.
Did we really?
It was about collectively, yes, it was about 35 minutes, but we did not sit through the full 3 hours. To be fair,
there was no way that would have been possible. It's just, first of all, the speech was awful. It was unbearable, and also the sound quality was terrible, and the speech was so much louder than our voices, and it was just bad. And I was so tired that day. And I had committed to you long before it happened, so that's on me. That's
nice
me.
To do that, though. I feel bad.
No, don't feel bad. That was my commitment, and I messed it up. So anyway, let's stop talking about cool kids. They're boring.
Yes.
I did publish. You know how we get these? Well, I mean, I'm so glad to hear you get like the real below the belt comments or emails, because I get these vicious emails that come from the same person. They use a different name, but they have such a distinct way of speaking that I know exactly who it is. You'll have to read it. So I put it on it's got the kind of language that do you want to see it? Okay, then talk. I'll put it up while you talk.
Yeah. If she's putting up, because we all have those people, and they stick out in our minds, and I like to think at least we can, primarily be entertained by them. But there are a few, like I'll tell you my most mean one only because it literally is like the most recent comment. So I think that's even easier for me to find. Somebody actually.
I'm gonna get mad. I can tell.
What are you gonna get mad?
If someone said something mean to you.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, now I can't find. I wonder if they deleted their comment.
Well, I found mine.
Bummer. That makes me sad. Because did I screenshot it? No, I don't think I did. Oh yeah, here it is. I subscribed.
Now I have to admit.
What's up?
Nothing. Go ahead.
Oh, I subbed to you because I felt sorry that you lost your job over a Scientology related comment. I was hoping you had something to add that would provide the balance and nuance of a professional journalist. But my opinion is that you are winging it. And with the other people out there who are either putting in a lot more work or who are just more plain entertaining, what would compel me to continue to watch your content? Are you going to start working for it? Doing research, checking facts, pursuing interest topics, or are you just going to keep going for the low-hanging fruit in the hopes of getting a few more views? Well, fuck you, would be my answer to that. So there you go. We all get them. That was mean, wasn't it?
I like it. Yeah, that was mean, but not as mean as this one.
Okay, this is a novel. This is fun. It's fun to read the trash. I like that we're both like not like we're both comfortable enough and not self-conscious enough where we're not super like scared of our image, and like we'll actually be like, here are the hilarious negative comments. So respect for you. So wow, okay. Came across this video.
Okay, well,
yeah, you want
all
to
right,
read it?
so this person copied myself, Pearl Snappy, and Liz Gale.
Oh, wow.
And you can't see that here, but I'm telling you, I looked up. I'm pretty sure I know who this person is. But anyway, I mean, I don't know them personally, but I know their name. So anyway, this person has sent me something that sounds exactly like this. So they're calling themselves Giovanni Mensch. And I said, fan mail from Giovanni Mensch. I said, look up Mensch, stupid. You are not that. And for those of you who don't know, Mensch is a word that's Yiddish. It's German actually in origin, but it's been co-opted, into Yiddish, and it means a person of character. Like, I mean, it's a really huge compliment. So it says, I just came across this video. I don't know what the video is. I didn't look at it. And this stuff happens all the time with you protesters. There was another video of some channel showing Snappy threatening small kids. Because you know how she is. Always threatening small people. And you guys are scammers. You guys just want fame and clout and donations.
No, we're all getting rich off this. I'm sure we are.
We're really, really rich. At least Scientology helps the community in a genuine way. I mean, I never seen any of you protesters assist homeless families or veterans, victims of natural disasters, etc., etc.
That was all a lie.
I'm not a Scientologist, but see through the scheme. They're not a Scientologist, guys. Even William Good admitted it's all about money. By the way, I know him personally. You guys are lazy who drain the people and feed people lies. You want to end all the great work Scientology does and replace it with you guys' dirty scheme? You guys are more harmful to general people than Scientology. I have seen so many subscribers went to growing up in Scientology or relatable reads to others say they are feeling used and going broke from funding all these people you ask them to. It's all a scam. Replacing Scientology with you guys.
Scientology, to be fair, is you're not going to go broke trying to fund what they ask of you. So that person has a good point.
Replacing Scientology with you guys' scheme is very harmful to the world. You guys don't offer anything, maybe just entertainment in actuality, and will remove all the good things Scientology does. But he's not a Scientologist. You ex-Scientologists are one of the same, you effing wackos, wannabe rock star, drugged up psycho, narcissistic personality disorder.
Well, that's the best. It's like, we're going to go poor. People are going to go poor with their $3 every 3 hours that the live streamers do. But it's not like Scientology ever pressures their parishioners to donate. So
never. I mean, no. All those free classes you get at Scientology, guys, it's only $5,000 for the first class. So, I mean, that's no biggie. And, you know, Scientology's always out there on the front line with the veterans and the homeless. In fact, they just took a homeless friend of mine from the street that I offered to take to an AA meeting, his last $5 for a shitty pamphlet. So, yeah, absolutely right. Yeah.
Well, this brings up an interesting point of conversation, though, this this ridiculous comment. And I will say, I'm a little envious of you because this person is so obviously allied with Scientology. It hurts me more because the random comment that I got, that person, we could have the same goal, and that might just mean I suck. Obviously, I don't, but it hurts me more. The question is, what streamers, I always wonder this, this is just off the top of our heads, but what percentage of streamers do you think make more than 500 a week off this? I'm going to say it's 2%. I'm going to say it's Jessica Palmadessa.
I have no
she already has, that would be it would be Streets LA, Jessica, because she's had it. I followed her before this. She had like a big, can I be your sugar baby skit thing that blew up on TikTok. So she already had a massive, she's smart. She knows how to market herself. She already had a massive following. Streets LA does. But like, I don't think DOA Chris is actually making like real, maybe he is. I hope he does. But I don't think he's actually making real money. My guess is he's making 100 a week. So I want to dispel that rumor for people. Like, okay, in Chicago, the most when I turned the future stream
100 a week is a lot more than I make. Just let me say that. I'm sorry, I just stepped all over you. But 100 a week is. No, 100 a week is nothing. Is not what I make doing this. Okay, right. I might make on the best month. I made $200 in a month. Right. Okay, I'd be happy to share my analytics with anybody. You don't make money doing this. You do not. People are extremely generous. People are so generous because they're just like us. We're all just regular people, and we give. I also donate, you guys. I mean, I gave $20 to Nancy Drew the other day. Like I used to donate like a mad person to the Aftermath. Now I just don't even know who to trust anymore, but that's me. But you don't make money. You guys, I got 10,000 views on a short and I made 37 cents. You don't know. You do not understand until you do it, how little money there is.
And I want to bring this point home because I don't like that some of these people think when they think of Danny and Leah or Chris, DOA Chris, or Nance, I don't want people to think that any of these people are doing it so they can get money. And the one thing that I didn't love about what Aaron said is I love that he was encouraging people to stream, but he was also saying you will make money. No, some people will, but do this because out of the goodness of your heart. And don't do it to me. That's not why I have like if I wanted to make money and not stay at motels where the mold is falling on the ceiling and shit, then I'd have a 9-to-5 job and I wouldn't feel good about my work. None of us are like Aaron, I'm sure makes a really nice amount of money. I don't think Nora makes a ton even, and she's number 2. I don't think any of them make like a nice, even lower middle class, the same you'd make at McDonald's living. So I need to dispel that. Like, no. Like, don't go on to make money. You won't automatically, you'll get automatically, if you're good, you'll automatically get a nice community of followers, but you will not automatically get money. The most I've ever made off advertisements off my YouTube, off my views was like $50. And that was the video that got like 30,000 views. So, if you have 4 30,000 viewed videos a day, then you're making 200 a day. That's nice. Unless you have that number, dude, like you're not making money. So all of these people, it's not for clout because they're not making money. It's because they want to Nance, Chris DOA, all of these people, you, me to some extent, like we're not doing this because we want to make money and grift off people. And some people make an extra 100 or 200 a week in donations, and those donations are given right back so they could get the healthcare they need, or they could get the legal service they need, or for me with my donations, so I could fly out to Los Angeles and cover the court. So I'm sorry to get passionate about this, but I just we have to have a united narrative on this, and it's that these guys are not actually profiting who are going off the street.
No, it would be nice to break even. I mean, like my ultimate goal is to break even. So, and I believe I'll be able to do that because in the beginning you have to invest in a lot of equipment. And we're not saying, oh, poor us, we don't make money. We're doing this because this is our cause. This is my cause right now. This is what I do right now. This is everything I do right now. And the only reason I'm doing it is because I'm passionate about this cause. And I think you guys can safely assume that about everyone that's in our category, right? I'm not saying other people are untrustworthy at all. I'm just saying that Dodge is absolutely right. This at one time was described as a way to make a lot of money. Right. I think because, you know, we are anxious to get other people out there helping us.
Stronger numbers, I get it.
Truth is, it is not a good way to make money.
Right. Right. Miss Kim, I'd like enough just to pay for my gas. Miss Kim, do you have a page yourself, if I'm not mistaken? There's someone who commented who seems familiar. If you know her. Yeah.
Miss Kim, I've seen your name before. Do you have a channel?
Are you the one in Sacramento, if I'm not mistaken? No. Oh, Miss Kim, I thought you were somebody else. I thought you're somebody who had a YouTube channel. You're saying I'd like just enough to pay for my gas.
Do you have a channel as well? Yeah.
And yeah, right. Tori Magoo, right? Tori's been doing this for 24 years, making videos since 2008. That's right. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, Miss Kim, right. So, guys, follow Miss Kim, who's been protesting in Austin. I know I knew you, and I've watched you, and I just blanked out. So, my apologies. But follow Miss Kim. I've seen some of her stuff.
Okay, so what's the...
That's why I rung a bell.
You have... What's the name of her channel? Do you know? What's the name of your channel?
It would be Miss Kim. That's hardcore. So, Miss Kim drove 150 miles round trip to protest 3 times a week. Yeah, she's been Austin, I believe. Yeah. Miss Kim is I assume your YouTube name is Miss Kim, right? So I'll wait for her response. Okay, thank you. Michael's on top of this stuff. Thank you, Michael. Scientology won't win in Texas. Yeah. Miss Kim, I'll be in Austin, by the way, so let's connect. And that would be a lot of fun. But it's called Scientology won't, no apostrophe. Scientology won't win in Texas. Again, her YouTube is Scientology won't win in Texas, all one word without the apostrophe. And Miss Kim says absolutely. So me and Miss Kim, I'd love to interview you, so you will see Miss Kim on my channel, probably in about a month from now, I would say. And I'm going to write down her thing too, because I think I subscribed to. I've certainly seen your stuff. Cool. And let's knock them out in Texas. I'm going to change the tune. It is a little long, Miss Kim. You're right. That's what's nice about having a weird name, Dodge Landesman. Everything's just Dodge Landesman.
Me too. Hey, okay. So Victoria, what do you think about this thing? Victoria says, what about Rogan?
Rogan. So it's a copyright thing? Is there actual any beef with it?
With Joe Rogan? Is that what you're asking? What if we talk to him about this? Is that what you mean? I'm missing something.
No. I don't know if you know, but from what I've gathered, and Ms. Kim would love to meet you too. She just commented. But Victoria says, what about Rogan? From what I'd gathered, Aaron Smith-Levin used a YouTube clip of Rogan. Joe Rogan has brought up Scientology, my guess, 4 or 5 times collectively, in addition to interviewing Ron Miscavige,
Leah Remini,
and Leah
Remini.
Right. In addition to interviewing those 2 people, he has, but that was 5 years ago. But even in more recent years, he's brought it up about 3 or 4 additional times. Apparently, Aaron's was copied down. I found this story so interesting. I didn't watch the video, but I think the Rogan team or the YouTube team was like, don't worry about it. That would be my guess. No, it was a company that tried to copyright strike. Aaron got it back up. Okay. So I don't even think it was Rogan people, but somebody tried to copyright strike Aaron's stuff for featuring Rogan. Aaron had a stream commenting as Rogan, right, which was interview. Oh, so he was interrupted midstream. But that is fascinating because there are all these little gremlins on Scientology's behalf, and they're watching every single little stream and looking at
everything. They watch everything.
Right.
You guys,
they watch. Turns me on.
We're mutual enemies. And so since the opening of the Chicago org, they watch every stream I make because they send people to give emails like this, but more importantly, people, there are some of my viewers that like to watch the train ride on the way there. So I would always film the train ride on the way there and on the way home. I had to stop doing that because they knew when I was coming and they would shut everything down before I got there. Now they literally, the second I go live, they send someone out and they shut everything down. And it's always me that has that effect. And it's because of what happened on March 3rd. That's why. It's a mutual disrespect thing. So look at this. What S. Neverin says. I record with an iPhone, have a $20 headset, a cheap laptop, and I had to teach myself everything and just learn how to make thumbnails. Don't know how to make shorts yet. That's me exactly, except I've got a $5 headset that I got at Five Below. And
MVTV, email me. I'll teach you how to make shorts,
but anyway,
by the way. Email me. But
it's easy. It's super easy once you know how. Like everything, right? I had to learn how to use, I just learned how to use StreamYard. I'm so excited about it.
It's cool. I didn't know. The first time I was introduced to StreamYard is when I was on with Aaron after I got fired. And I'm like, what the hell is this? And I'm like, oh, I guess I'll just use this. I bet they've watched you. I think
they watch everything.
You have 600 subscribers now? Yeah, you're not nothing, dude. Your channel's not nothing.
No.
It's something you're doing. So I bet they have watched you. And
it doesn't matter how many followers you have, they watch all of us. It's very easy to have your phone set up so that when a streamer goes live, it makes a sound. Now it's even easier because we have Fluffy and Xenu's Masterpiece. So it's not hard for them. They have a lot of staff, you guys. They have no parishioners, almost no parishioners. In Chicago, there are none. There's like maybe a dozen at best. But they have a lot of staff. They have a lot of Sea Org members. They have a lot of Nation of Islam people here in Chicago that are required by Louis Farrakhan to take Scientology training in order to be a member. So they have a lot of staff here, and they cover everything. And there's no doubt in my mind that they cover everybody everywhere.
Right. Kim says, started with a selfie stick in my phone. Haven't learned anything. Still just using YouTube. We're gonna get that. We all are, man. And like, so I've gotten criticism for not being high tech. It's like I can't afford, have a fancy camera.
We get a lot of criticism from viewers for that. A lot. Yeah. I mean, we just do.
Then go watch CNN. Okay?
Yeah, exactly. And know nothing when you're done. Right. So, okay, so I think that covers everything we were going to talk about. As you can see,
I'm pretty happy. We're on for a whole 2 hours. It's a marathon.
Yeah, and no lag and stuff to talk about between you and I.
Last call. All right, last call to action.
This SEC contact relicensing of Dream Exchange. SEC. This is how it works. They're trying to get a license, okay, to be this kind of venture/stock exchange. We want to prevent that. So here's your contact, and it's been on the entire time, guys. So no excuses. SEC.gov/TCR. It's a form, and I have a video, a 12-minute video about how to go through it. So I've talked to people that they put my video on, they brought the form up, and they had it done in 10 minutes. And it's worth the effort. There's one other thing. So like I said, I'm just learning. And here is. Okay. This is how to get in touch with your Congress people. So representatives and senators. Just look up this website and put in your zip code, and they will tell you who they are and how to get in touch with them. Easy peasy. And you want to tell them that you do not want passage of the legislation we're talking about, which this time is called the Main Street Growth Act, MSGA, Main Street Growth Act. And the legislation number is in my, I think it's 6629, but I'm not positive. It's in my, all the information is in the 3 videos I did. There will be much more information coming out, but there's enough there for you to take action today or tomorrow.
Respect. And then I'll do a little write-up, and I'll post it on my community page by tonight. So if anybody wants to do a quick, like, 5-sentence copy and paste, this is what to send to your elected official, and this is also what to send to the SEC. I will be putting that up. And last comment from Michael. Looks like Nance's shit still in the pokey. My prediction is I will have a video in support of Nance, blasting out her, hopefully her GoFundMe for any therapy she might need for trauma, or any legal bills she might need to either get out of jail or to file a lawsuit. Whatever she needs the money for, I will be there to support her. So that will probably be my next video. And I guess we'll all follow along and see if Nance is okay. But I will be ready to spring into action once I know exactly what happens to her.
Yeah, thanks for doing that. I've got an SEC email, a model email that I wrote myself already. So we've got that covered. It's great to have options, but I just want you to know, in case, I know you stay up late, but in case you're tired and don't want to do that one, we've got that covered. That's in my community tab.
Perfect.
Also,
great, it is.
This is a great suggestion. This is a great suggestion. Okay. Believe it or not, the video I did that's an hour plus long, I thought was as concise as I could get, but no, I get it now. Maybe Dodge, you could help me with that. Thank you.
Well, that was my job as a news anchor, right? Is looking at 20 pages of documents and distilling them into a 45-second read. So I'll do it because that's what I've spent 3 years doing that shit. And so I'll very good idea. So we'll do that with the text, and I'll do like a 3-minute, not even 2-minute thing. This is the very basic thing. This is how to write, and I'll condense it and all that shit. So
sounds perfect. Thanks for your help, Dodge. Thank you a lot for helping me with this. It's a big deal.
Of course.
This could change our free market system. Like, we need to pay attention to this.
Well, it's ironic. I mean, there was this big controversy with Kelly Loeffler, the senator from Georgia. She was amongst many senators, for investing in inside trading, specifically for being aware of the incoming COVID pandemic and investing in industries that would benefit from the pandemic literally a month before anybody else really knew about it. So it is ironic that there's this whole ban bump stocks amongst Congress effort. And then at the same time, there is a bill because of Scientology to make internal investing a lot more secretive, which of course would only, then it wouldn't matter if bump stock, if this whole thing of inside info is banned and whatever bump stocks for Congress, well, then they could just go through this loophole with what Scientology is doing and nobody will ever have to know. So
that's right.
There
are really all kinds of ways to misuse it.
Yes. But Shannon, thank you for always being my friend. You know who your real friends are, post controversy. So always your biggest fan. And well, let's talk maybe next week and we'll digest Nance and see how the progress is going.
We're all going to want to know what happens to you too next week. So
I'll let you guys know.
Okay, good. Please do. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Right,
thanks a lot for coming. Thank you. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.